ولا كان على بالي يا عمري ولا يوم بخيالي كن أمري مو بإيدي خياري كيف قدري غير أحوالي دون خبري.
Habanero and Cayenne, Love After Enmity, Chapter 38, The Eve of Change. Copyright 2025, Alexa Baciso, all rights reserved. April 28, 2025. Cayenne sat on the bench under the bright spring sun, the warmth brushing her skin like a quiet reassurance. The trees swayed overhead. She smiled softly to herself, remembering everything she had built over the past month. She had not sat idle. She had recorded. She had posted. She had filmed. She had worked methodically with ChatGPT, exposing the predictable moves of corrupt systems trying to erase her. She was an artist, a Gazan-born Palestinian-Canadian woman, an economist, a dancer, a high IQ autistic truth-teller. And the government of Canada had tried to break her, but they had only proven her right. They had suppressed her Palestinian and LGBTQ+ advocacy. They had deleted tribunal links from Google to hide their fraud. They had tried to profile her without evidence, spread false diagnoses, and manufacture rumors to force her into isolation. And yet, here she was, alive, laughing, dancing, publishing her truth step by careful step while thousands watched silently from behind suppressed metrics. Her stories had flooded Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, showing undeniable evidence that she had been targeted illegally since at least 2015. She had addressed every smear with live videos, revealing how her suppression connected directly to breaches of Canadian sovereignty, how bad actors within the judiciary endangered national security by criminalizing intelligent, high-performing autistic citizens who refused to conform. She made it clear to everyone watching, this wasn't about one prime minister. This wasn't about left or right. It was a system failure inside Canada, a structural rot, and it threatened every Canadian, not just her. Releasing this chapter on the eve of the election was not an accident. Cayenne wanted the incoming government to know that the evidence was undeniable, the witnesses were numerous, and the chance to repair Canada's dignity and sovereignty was now, not later. This was bigger than any individual. It was about protecting the future of Canada itself. She smiled again, feeling the breeze. The suppression tactics had failed. Even with suppression still active, the flood of private story views, profile checks, and indirect engagement made it obvious. They had been caught. And no matter what they did next, they could never fully undo what had already been exposed. Somewhere out there, Habanero was still watching her dance. He had seen the story, the one where she danced barefoot in her home, draped in the Canadian flag, stitched with Palestinian embroidery, telling the world through movement and joy. I am an artist. I am Gazan-born. I am Palestinian. I am Canadian. And I am free under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Get used to it. Habanero hadn't shown up yet, but deep down, he was beginning to recognize something Cayenne had already understood. His fear was irrational. They needed him frozen, not because he was a threat, but because if he stood up and simply spoke the truth, if he calmly testified to what he knew, he could destroy their entire fraudulent structure. His testimony, his courage would paralyze them, not the other way around. They needed him afraid, because fear protected their crimes. But speaking would protect him. Even now, in the quiet corners of his mind, Habanero was contemplating it, filming his own evidence, recording his experiences, posting the truth directly to the world, on Google, on his own website, locking the truth into history before they could twist it again. He was realizing that if he took control of the narrative, if he placed the truth beyond their reach, he would no longer have to live in fear. He would protect himself. He would protect Cayenne. He would protect Canada. The chapters of this very novel contained evidence they couldn't erase. Real names coded into characters, suppressed links documented, surveillance patterns exposed. They had hired operatives in the Latin dance scene, tried to weaponize neurotypical group dynamics to destroy her and Habanero. But they failed. Because high IQ autistic love is not built on possession. It is built on truth, on freedom, on resilience. The night before the election, the message was clear. Canada could heal itself, or Canada would be forced to heal internationally in front of the entire world. And both would continue to dance.
I like when you get mad. I guess I'm pretty glad that you're alone. said she's scared of me. I mean, I don't see what she sees, but maybe it's 'cause I'm wearing your cologne. I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she dances on my tongue. Tastes like she might be the one. And I could never get enough. I could buy her so much stuff. It's a craving, not a crush. Call me when you're there. Said I'll watch you something rare. And I left it undeclared. So now she's coming up the stairs. So I'm pulling up the chair. And I'm pulling up my hair. Baby, I think you are made for me. Somebody write down the recipe. Been trying hard not to overeat. You're just so sweet. I wanna shower for you like you want. Clothes on the counter for you, try it on. If I'm a light, I'll help you take them off. I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she dances on my tongue. Tastes like she might be the one. And I could never get enough. I could buy you so much stuff. It's a craving, not a crush. She's taking pictures in the mirror. Oh my God, her skin's so clear. Tell her bring that over here. You need a seat, I'll volunteer. Now she's smiling ear to ear.
Alexa Vasisa, Gazan-born, Palestinian, Canadian, free, and an equal artist, human being, female, under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Get used to it. Bye. Good morning, and today's video is a very serious outreach or outcry to all Canadians, especially as we get closer and closer to the elections. I've already voted, and I've already shared that I chose Dr. Mark Carney. Okay, now the purpose of this video today is to share with you that my novel, so Habanero and Cayenne, is being actively suppressed by government actors because I disclose the pattern of psycho-harassment that is currently being used by at least one Crown attorney in association with police in Ontario, as well as the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario and Tribunals Ontario. For example, my Facebook account, my personal Facebook account, has been illegally surveilled for many years. I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, I'm an economist, I hold a valid top secret clearance, I have no criminal record, and I've shared all of these documents on my Facebook. And I did that because the Tribunals Ontario feedback email that I've linked to the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario's emails that I send, which are all in writing and confirm and attest to my sharpness and my mental aptitude, and how I quickly recognize that they are actively engaging in conspiracy to commit fraud and fraud in the public interest. Okay? So Vice Chair Ramona Ginentham having a racialized name is not a sheer coincidence. The fact that Naomi Remy and Tara Lynn Howlett and Arwa Awad and Hala and all these people were given pseudonames by myself, an author, and placed in my novel. Okay, you have access to my novel, and those chapters being suppressed tells me that, as somebody who is testing them, like I knew that they were surveilling me because my work is very high quality. And for my work, to get thousands of views, sometimes without being actively marketed or tagged, and then to be extremely suppressed other times when the content is important, especially as a Gaza-born Palestinian Canadian. Speaking the truth, using facts. Okay? Even my post on hummus, hummus as in, you know who I'm talking about, right? Even my post on, you know, genetic theories, my posts about biblical history, my posts about the truth about being Gazan and Palestinian, they are actively suppressed. All of this suggests that complicit government actors, the same kind of disgusting actors that create narratives that harm people like Maher Arar and sent him, you know, to be tortured outside of Canada, right? And then they wanted to give him a criminal record and all of that, and they were hoping that he would die. That's still happening, except now it's happening in a modern day version with me and by the Tribunals Ontario system, okay? The current ongoing suppression of my dance videos, again, my dance videos at local Ottawa dance socials, okay? With Dr. James Splinter. Unmasking with me, okay? Unmasking because we are both autistic, high IQ autistic, all right? The fact that they're suppressing that and the fact that I've been very clear that we were unmasking and I slowed down the video and I showed we were unmasking. And I did that in March, just March of this year, okay? So that video is suppressed, and it's so suppressed that when I uploaded it again yesterday, it was still suppressed automatically. What is so harmful to the Canadian national public interest for James Splinter and I to be dancing at a local dance social? It's not the fact that we were dancing, it's that we are two high IQ autistics, and that I called out and I realized that we're two high IQ autistics, but I found out many years after. Tribunals Ontario and the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, and even possibly one of the, you know, involved Crown attorneys. These people know exactly what a high IQ autistic person is. They understand that the ideation rates in autistics are 66% higher than allistics, okay? So when the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario has gotten to know me since 2015 and realized that I am sharp, that I have asked for an anonymization of my name in the public record, and that they granted me anonymization in the public record. I've shared all those documents. And when I've also asked for accommodations to record all of my proceedings, because they're dishonest, okay? And because I have hyperfocus. Back then, I thought it was OCD. It's not OCD, okay? Being autistic and looping is a sign of high intelligence. It's high IQ, okay? It also has nothing to do with mental deficiency. It means that my brain works a lot faster than all of theirs, and that I'm a pattern thinker, okay? Also, all of the research in psychology studies the white man. It does not study racialized women. It doesn't even study white women, okay? So while it has a lot of benefit and accuracy, but it is not 100%, you know, like an excellent tool of prediction. And I'm the example of that, all right? They've been psycho-harassing me since 2015. They've been working with at least one Crown attorney. And they thought the whole time that my name was my Arabic name, which it was legally until I legally changed it to address the ongoing issues that I face with racism in the labor market. Despite all of my achievements, which they are actively scrubbing online, literally scrubbing offline. My research that was chosen by McGill University and featured at the National Integrative Research Conference. That link is gone, all right? It is becoming increasingly more difficult to find my entrepreneurial achievements linked to the Ontario Chairs of Excellence. Yes, I was a finalist from across Ontario. Even my interview with the CBC with Julie Ayrton, it's gone. It's not on the internet anymore. And what's troubling about all of this is that they've known all along that I am high IQ and autistic before I ever did by many years, which indicates surveillance, which indicates that they have the knowledge and that they do psychoanalyze, okay? But they've known this because they deliberately waited until I sent them my legal name change certificate in 2021. And on the same day, March 23rd, 2021, a decision was released on Ken Lee claiming that I am mentally deficient. And it was written by a racialized last name, Ginantham, Ramona Ginantham, right? Never met Ramona Ginantham. We never had a hearing for that application. And I've never ever called myself mentally deficient, and I record all of my proceedings, and they've given me the right to record all of my proceedings. And so when you Google my name, Alexa Basiso, write investigation, you'll notice that they've removed all of the Kenley links off of Google when I started posting because I was testing them. But they cannot remove the third-party links because they are archived. And they cannot change the metadata attached to the Supreme Court decision that they linked to my Arabic first name, okay? On purpose. And they did that because they want to give the illusion of a criminal record should anybody Google me, all right? I do not have a criminal record. I've posted my police record check. I hold valid high clearances from the Canadian government. I've held valid high clearances from the Canadian government like since at least 2008 and under my Arabic name. My legal name change was legal, and it took place in 2017. I've declared it on my top secret security application, which I was granted and which was verified and validated on more than one occasion, and I just used it on my last job with the Canadian government. So right now, these suppression patterns that are impacting my personal Facebook account suggest many things, and they suggest that they are actively marketing and taking off the internet whatever they think they can to create a narrative about me that's not true, just like they already did. And more specifically, like that textbook, so Open Education Alberta, to write an entire chapter, okay, and have a clear blurb under neurodivergence, and then list my first and last name, and list the HRTO decision that never got a hearing, okay, is evidence that they know that I'm neurodivergent and that they need to basically defame me online and create a narrative that I'm somehow psychologically deficient, because they want to also create the narrative that I'm suicidal, all right? And that's because the research confirms that 66% of autistics, yes, they do think about taking their own life, okay? But that research is done on white men, which is why I believe they're going after Dr. James Splinter, okay? Because there is no data on racialized women. Nobody cares about racialized women, okay? And the Arabic world, like my heritage, I mean, you can't even get citizenship and give it to your own kids if you marry outside of your own culture. They're not going to actually study you, okay? So what's happening right now with Tara Lynn Howlett running away to Mexico and Sue Ann running away to Australia, okay? That's not a coincidence. The fact that Tara Lynn Howlett is deleting comments supporting lies that she engineered through psycho-harassment, okay, and psycho-training, psycho-harassment of me and psycho-harassment training to induce me and James Splinter with autistic meltdown and autistic shutdown, that's all engineered. Tyler Cameron is also involved. These people have to be investigated. And the government, parties that are promoting them also have to be investigated. The fact that they're suppressing the chapters that I've written on my novel, an artistic piece of art. It's a novel based on my real life. The fact that they're suppressing it, and very specific about the chapters that basically humanize Dr. James Splinter and that showcase their use of racialized people to cover up for racism and psycho-harassment, as well as conspiracy to commit fraud and conspiracy to commit murder. The fact that they have articles written about me for many years from behind my back, okay, claiming that I'm mentally deficient and neurodivergent and a bunch of other things in writing, and then simultaneously calling Ottawa police twice, claiming that I'm suicidal when I've never said those words. What do you think they're planning for Dr. James Splinter? How many times have they done this before? Mentally deficient people don't create businesses. Mentally deficient people aren't artists. Mentally deficient people don't produce lives like this. Mentally deficient people don't review all of the evidence over 10 years in less than 30 minutes with precise accuracy. Mentally deficient people don't go online and speak the truth with evidence, with receipts, naming names. Now, all these people are watching me, and they know that I have the evidence to put them all in jail, okay? We're talking life sentences, all right? But nothing is happening because they're trying to cover it up, and they're going to use Dr. James Splinter to do that, okay? This is psycho-harassment. It's conspiracy to commit fraud. It's conspiracy to commit murder, okay? Because they specifically solicited a textbook outside of Ontario on a human rights tribunal decision that never had a hearing. And why do you think they didn't have a hearing? Because they granted me the right to anonymity, and they granted me the right to record my hearings as per their own directives, their own decisions. They knew that I wouldn't let them move forward with it. They didn't want me to appeal it either. I've emailed them repeatedly over the last year asking about why they didn't give me my decision, and they just run around trying to, evade the subject matter. But hear me straight. I've been emailing them, following up. Also, Daryl Hareliak has as well. Okay, when my original application that started in 2015 that they did never addressed. Okay, and they never gave me my documents requested. Right, and then I filed in 2016. I asked to include racism as a ground, and I asked them to basically address the bias from adjudicator Mary Trumner. Then they just attached her buddy that works with her to assess if she's biased. Like, come on, man, are you that ridiculously incompetent in this country, in this province, that you think that you put your buddy to adjudicate over whether you're biased or not? Well, that's evidence of bias right there. They delayed my application for 2 years over that, okay? And in those 2 years, that's when they started looking for somebody to destabilize another autistic person that they can sort of use to scare me. And then they used that man. They destabilized him, asked police to harass him, stop him all the time in the vehicle until they induced autistic meltdown, which led to autistic shutdown, which led to them incriminating him in his absence at the Supreme Court, okay? And not only that, but referencing the evidence as this man calling police on himself. Criminals don't call the police on themselves. They run away. They suppress. They hide. Okay? They put people against each other. Those are criminals, like the criminals that are currently surveilling my account watching this video right now. Hello. Yes, I've been studying your suppression patterns. And yes, I've evidenced your collusion. And yes, you have to stop. Again, Tara Lynn Howlett is in Mexico. She deleted her messages under Naomi's fake stories that prove that they are psycho-harassing Dr. James Splinter, okay? The fact that the rumors about Dr. James Splinter started weeks before I met him, okay, weeks before I returned to Ottawa Dance, suggests that they've been surveilling Ottawa Dance, okay? And they're still surveilling Ottawa Dance because it is established in the literature that high IQ autistics and neurodivergent people gravitate towards dance places, dance socials, and the arts, okay? This is illegal. They cannot do that, all right? Also, the Information Privacy Commissioner's Office, their mandate is literally to enforce PIPEDA and privacy. If anybody willy-nilly can change and exchange information in public, and publish names on the internet for anybody, the IPC should be just deleted, they should just save all the money, all right? They're not doing their job. I personally waited over 6 months just to talk to a single person to answer my questions at the IPC's office. If you're receiving a salary not doing your job, then you're not doing your job. You need to be laid off, okay? And most importantly, literally most importantly, there are checks and balances to fight against fraud and conspiracy. It takes literally years or months to book a hearing. It takes many months to publish a decision on Ken Lee. Now, the Crown Attorney involved is the one that is, basically targeting the man that was given a criminal record in absenteeism, right? But linking my Arabic name, that was no longer my Arabic name when they linked it, which again confirms that they are not as powerful as they think they are. They have not, accessed all the information on me that they thought that they had, okay? And it also suggests that the legal name change office needs to be secured more, okay? Because they're using Google and indexing on the internet to do what they did to Meher Arar overseas, but on the internet, reputationally, and psycho-harassing people like me and Dr. James Splinter, okay? Like I said, take every single link that I have ever posted regarding what I experienced last year, okay, and look for whether it's suppressed or not. If it makes James Splinter look bad, it's promoted and it has thousands of views. If it makes Tally Cameron look bad, Tara Lynn Howlett look bad, Arwa look bad, or Naomi look bad, it's gone. I previously thought that it was James Splinter flagging these posts, but it's not him. It's the government officials surveilling me because they know that I have video recorded and have evidence of their conspiracy to commit fraud and treason, okay, against all of Canada. I've already posted some of that evidence. Am I going to post everything? Obviously not, because that gives them more opportunities to create more narratives, to create more stories, okay? So the fact that they're suppressing my account, I'm a dancer, suppressing my novel chapters, suppressing the evidence that James is autistic, but not suppressing the evidence that they wanted me to believe, which is that he's a racist. Now, let's just be clear. James did make the statement that he made on September 21st, okay? But he's made lots of strides and efforts to overcome that. And we see it throughout his company, okay? He's hired more diverse people. He's including everybody in his promotional materials. And he's eliminated anonymous reporting. All that stuff tells me that he's no longer in that state of mind, okay? But they want everyone to think that he is. And not only that, they're using me to do that. And like I said, the truth sets us free. It's the most important thing in the world, okay? Racism in Canada isn't just, oh, a bunch of white people being racist. No, it is using disgusting racialized people that protect the racists. And those disgusting people include Palestinian Arwa, include Hala, include Naomi Remy. Sanitizing Tally Cameron by twirling with him, pretending to be pro-Palestine and pro-Gaza and human rights, Hala, okay? And then being put on a stage to like look like she's some sort of activist. That is all what they're offering her. I tagged her publicly in front of all of you on what Tally Cameron wrote. And let's just be clear, all the conversations are evidence of complicity between Tally Cameron and Tara Lynn Howlett against Dr. James Splinter. They spoke for him and over him. He did not make any of those statements. Those text messages are with Tally Cameron and Tara Lynn Howlett. Naomi, literally being his shadow, that was her job, okay? Smirking and smiling when I arrived at Dance to Live on December 29, it's because that's her cue. Her job was to watch me and to do the provocation and to video record myself and James, because this is their setup to try and murder me and pin it on him. My novel is evidence of this. Everything that I've labeled in my novel, I portrayed him as borderline personality disorder, you know, I did all of that. That's what they wanted me to think. But I evidenced everything, and in front of everybody. And even despite the suppression, over 600 people viewed the evidence against the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario and the Crown Attorney, and how they are bypassing every single check and balance that is designed to protect Canadians from fraud by government actors that are corrupt, okay? The fact that I emailed them my legal name change certificate on March 23rd, 2021, check my pinned video. It's also listed on YouTube. Everything's on Telegram as well, all right? And other places that I'm not telling you. The evidence left Canada, buddy. So whether I live or die, the truth will be held against every single one of them. I'm going to freely live my life. I demand all of my charter rights. And this little loophole that they have to not be held accountable to sending decisions to every single person that they are lying about in order to prevent them from appealing that decision, this idea that they're allowed to publicly publish people's names, that will be terminated. I will be the reason why that will no longer happen, at least in Ontario. 93% of racism applications are dismissed by the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. How many of those people did not receive their decisions, and how many of them were defamed online, and how many of them committed suicide? That's attempted murder. The ideation rate for people with autism is 66% higher than non-autistic human beings. What do you think they're trying to do by smear campaigning me online and using my legal information on the exact same day that I sent them my legal name change certificate? Literally many years after. My name became Alexa Basiso in 2017. I sent them my legal name change certificate March 23rd, 2021. That decision was written in advance. They just didn't know what name to put on it. The fact that that decision was posted on CanLi on the exact same day I sent them my legal name change certificate tells me that all these people have to be investigated, and they should be criminalized, and they should go to jail, okay? This is not just about, oh, I'm Palestinian, oh, you know, I'm not white. No, this is about also being autistic. It's also about just government corruption, okay? I've had my differences with Dr. James Splinter, but I don't hate the man. He doesn't hate me. And I have reason to believe that Naomi Remy exists to fear destabilize him and to put him back into autistic shutdown, which he already left, okay? And that's because he's no longer useful to them. He's actually a liability right now, because he's another example of their autism hate outside of racism, because he's a Caucasian man and also exceptional in every way, not just with his business savvy, but with his own education, okay? This is deliberate, and we can't overlook it. The fact that they have ignored responding to my emails for years, but they saw my legal name change certificate and then applied my legal name against their own decision to anonymize my name. And despite knowing me for many years at that point, and how smart I am, and how I'm holding them accountable, literally holding them by their metaphoric, you know, right? It suggests that they see me as a high profile risk to their ability to comfortably engage in fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud and conspiracy to commit murder. It is attempted murder. To knowingly know somebody is autistic, withhold that information from them, and then publish it all over the internet like it's bad, create a criminal record by proxy, put it on the internet for many years, and then withhold their decision and attach their actual application where I'm supposed to finish my master's degree. I've already went live and I broke down all the evidence regarding how my grades were defrauded by the University of Waterloo, okay? I broke it down for you in less than 30 minutes in a live. Indisputable evidence. They know the evidence. They withheld the documents from me for over 4 years. I had to file 2 applications. And they typically have really incompetent people being adjudicators, because this is all a show. We're just wasting money, giving money to these people. They exist to service the agenda of people that are compromising our democracy, okay? And those people are the people that are employing and training and giving money away in incentives to Naomi Remy, you know, Tarlin Howlett, Talik Howlett, Hala, all of them. I am extremely concerned about the well-being of Dr. James Splinter. I am very concerned about my own safety, my own life. And I'm also concerned about the safety of Jewish dancers in the community, because a Semitic person is somebody who speaks Arabic or Hebrew. Google it. I identified as Semitic when I started talking about discrimination and racism in Canada at the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. Obviously, as the years passed, eventually you get to a point as an autistic person where you just want authenticity. Like, the masking is just like, you know, it's a subconscious thing. You just don't want to deal with it anymore, you know? And they saw that. They've been surveilling me the whole time. Like, I took 6 years off of Facebook, you know? That's because I was in autistic shutdown. I withdrew from everything, and that's what James is doing right now. He's withdrawing. And I encourage him to go out and to live his life and to stay away from these toxic people. James Splinter is safe so long as I'm alive. Okay? So long as I'm alive, they can't pin him with murdering me. Because Ottawa Police works closely with the Crown Attorney, it's not safe for me to file there. But also, Constable Jimmy Fang, I'm on the fence with whether, is he complicit or is he trying to warn me, you know? Because he technically threatened me when I wanted him to assess Talik Cameron specifically. And at the time, I thought that James Splinter could be, a pervert because of the fact that I had no idea what was on the internet about me. But also, because he froze, and I didn't know that was autistic shutdown. But also, he was being psycho-harassed by all of them. And actually physically touched and harassed physically, like Rita and Naomi, the forced kissing that they do, whether it's me or whether it's with Lebanese Jess, okay? That's because they know that his mind autistically is connected to me. And by inducing sensory overwhelm, they are intentionally causing autistic meltdown and autistic shutdown. It's intentional, it is studied. And again, I tell you, the fact that I never ever thought that I was neurodivergent, I had no clue, I didn't even know, I've never unmasked, I've never done these floppy things, okay, until the genocide started, and I started video recording myself, and I still didn't know. I thought this was art, I thought I was just sharing my culture, okay? But because I am autistic and I am high IQ, and I'm not white, okay? So whatever, is out there in the literature is all white men. It's studies about white men done by non-autistic people, all right? It doesn't mean that they can predict everything about me. That's why they're having a hard time basically eliminating me. They are suppressing everything. They're suppressing my opinions about the hummus, okay? They are suppressing my opinions about DNA. They are suppressing my opinions about epigenetics. They are suppressing my chapters, my novel chapters they're suppressing. They're suppressing my dances with James Splinter that make him look like a human being who is autistic, that is autistically in love with me. Again, this is not like a holistic boobs and butt cracks and nipples kind of love, okay? And I'm not being vulgar. I'm just helping you understand, okay? This is about pattern recognition. It's about destabilizing him. I'm really concerned for his well-being, not because his mind is very, very, very sharp, okay? I'm concerned about autistic meltdown, autistic shutdown, and how they're trying to count on paralysis. When I say paralysis, I mean on the inside, freeze response. He needs a lawyer, and that lawyer needs to have awareness and understanding about neurodivergence. I am the evidence. They got to him before I ever met him. This is not because of me. This is because this is ongoing. And it targets high IQ autistics, which will go to Latin dance socials, okay? And people like Tara Lynn Howlett and Talik Cameron are trained to do what they're doing. Every single piece of evidence that I showed you while I was under autistic shutdown. I was under autistic meltdown. And that's why I stopped dancing for a while, and that's what they wanted. And that's currently what's happening with James Splinter. He's not dancing anymore. I don't see him at any socials. Please invite him. Please help me. We need to flag this. And a big part of admission of truth is the fact that they're suppressing me. And that I picked up on it, and then I started evidencing it, and I started reporting on it. And that's how I know who's involved. And that's what I did yesterday. But also yesterday, I tried to upload the video, or my last dance with James Splinter, the video, slowed down, that shows how we're unmasking and mirroring each other, firing repeatedly. And by the way, there's a lot more that I didn't even circle, okay? I don't need to do I don't need to identify every single movement, right? But they're suppressing it, and it's actively suppressed. So when I uploaded the same video yesterday, before I went dancing, it would upload, but it would not allow me to share it. And I had put down the same write-up, copy-pasted the same write-up that they're suppressing. So they're still suppressing it because they don't want people to know the truth. So I uploaded the video, but I put the link and I did not put any write-up. Currently, it looks like it's available to be seen, right? So I'm testing, and I need all of you to keep testing to be witnesses when they're going to suppress that video. That video staying live and accessible to everybody is proof that James Diego Splinter does not hate me at a biological nervous system level, okay? And yeah, like, I wouldn't be dropping names and recording myself doing so if I didn't have indisputable evidence and very strong evidence and very strong belief in what I'm saying.
I just finished voting, and I voted for Dr. Mark Carney. I want Canada to be led by a competent man with a PhD in economics, and I hope he doesn't disappoint me. I voted for Liberals last time, and Trudeau definitely disappointed me. And we need judicial reform, we need universal income, we need to respect having our own babies, we need benefit programs for mothers and fathers that want to stay home and raise their own children. And yeah, we need accountability, especially in the judiciary. And I want to be part of the change. I believe that the truth is very important, and the truth sets us free. I love Canada, and please vote Dr. Mark Carney.
نبدأ. باسم رب العشق مقرب القلوب، باسم المودة والرحمة تجتمع الأرواح، باسم الوفاء فلا مر بعد حلوك، باسم الهوان فلا تهون ولا أهون، باسم النور الذي يضيء قلبينا، باسم الإخلاص والصبر والهوى. أما بعد، فلك من عمري كل ما فيه، ولي منزل في عينيك أسكنه وأهواه، شريك الروح والقلب. باسم رب العشق مقرب القلوب، باسم المودة والرحمة تجتمع الأرواح، باسم الوفاء فلا مر بعد حلوك، باسم الهوان فلا تهون ولا أهون، باسم النور الذي يضيء قلبينا، باسم الإخلاص والصبر والهوى. أما بعد، فلك من عمري كل ما فيه، ولي منزل في عينيك أسكنه وأهواه، شريك الروح والقلب.